Welcome to the battlefields of World War II. In this series, we will be looking at a massive amount of conflicts in chronological order which occurred during the span of World War II. We begin all the way back, when things start to escalate in Asia during 1937, and go all the way to 1945 at the end days of the war. Each conflict will be briefly introduced with information mainly provided by Wikipedia. The battle will then be fought out in Battlefield 1942. All theaters of war, including the Pacific, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and Africa, will be dealt with. Be warned that there may be historical inaccuracies when it comes to the battles that are provided, but the main purpose of this series is to entertain, not to educate. For your epic journey throughout World War II, look no further. Enjoy. The Battle of Shanghai was the first of 22 major engagements fought between the National Revolutionary Army of the Republic of China and the Imperial Japanese Army of the Empire of Japan during the Second Sino-Japanese War. It was one of the largest and bloodiest battles of the entire war, described by Peter Hampson as Stalingrad on the Yangtze. Since 1931, China and Japan had been embroiled in smaller conflicts, often known as incidents, that saw China lose territories piece by piece. The term incident was used by the Japanese Imperial High Command to play down the Japanese invasion of China. Although Japan had not formally declared war on China, by August 1937, following the Marco Polo Bridge incident of July 7 and the ensuing Japanese invasion of North China, a de facto state of war existed between China and Japan. Dogged Chinese resistance at Shanghai was aimed at stalling the rapid Japanese advance, giving much needed time for the Chinese government to move vital industries to the interior, while at the same time attempting to bring sympathetic Western powers to China's side. During the fierce 3-month battle, Chinese and Japanese troops fought in downtown Shanghai, in the outlying towns, and on the beaches of the Yangtze and Hangzhou Bay, where the Japanese had made amphibious landings. The Chinese soldiers had to rely primarily on small-caliber weapons in their defense of Shanghai, against an overwhelming Japanese onslaught of air, naval, and armored striking power. In the end, Shanghai fell, and China lost a significant portion of its best troops, while also failing to elicit any international intervention. The resistance of Chinese forces, however, shocked the Japanese, who had been indoctrinated with notions of cultural and martial superiority, and dramatically demoralized the Japanese army. Hey everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Battlefields of World War II. Here we find ourselves during the Battle of Shanghai. In the intro you could have already heard some information about this, but I have some off-script information that I will share with you guys, namely that this battle was indeed very long and very bloody, and it can be seen in basically 3 phases. We are playing as the Japanese, by the way, currently, because I said before we are going to do these scenarios chronologically or like historically correct in terms of the winner. So we will also try to fight as the Chinese, because I think that's kind of cool, because the Chinese are not very well represented in a lot of games. But because the Japanese eventually won this battle, we will start with that. But anyway, the battle consisted of 3 phases, where the first one was mostly the Chinese army trying to hold the Japanese out of the downtown of Shanghai. And this lasted at the end of August. And then after that, the second phase is when the amphibious landings happened that I mentioned earlier in the intro. And this is when the notorious Stalingrad-like battles occurred in the streets and in the house blocks. And the third and final phase was when the Chinese army had to retreat, and Japan pushed on to the capital of Nanjing, which, if you want to know, is going to be the next video after this. It is going to be, or it's going to be the next video in Battlefields of World War II. Now, I do have to say that I'm not entirely sure what phase it is, what we're doing here. If you would ask me, this is kind of Stalingrad-ish, you know, how it feels, the look and feel of it. But I don't see any... Oh, no, wait. No, we do. Look. So this is during the amphibious... Let's take a look here. Yeah. So this is during phase 2, I think, is safe enough to say. Now, one thing with this map, as you can see, is that the Chinese have 4 spawn points, and we have 1, which is uncapturable, but it is almost impossible for us to break through here. Ugh. And even though the Japanese won, they did find a lot of resistance from the Chinese. They had some of their best troops here. Oh my god. They do have quite a bit of armor, actually. I remember in the intro it said that they mostly had small caliber weapons, which is why it was impressive that they actually were able to prove some resistance to an overwhelming attack force. Now, this occurred, I think this was the first big battle after the Marco Polo incident. Unfortunately, I don't think there is any map out there concerning the Marco Polo Bridge incident. That was basically the incident that led to the Second Sino-Japanese War, and I did look it up. There was a battle there. And one thing that's interesting is, if you've been checking out my channel as of late, you know that I've been streaming a lot of Hearts of War or Hearts of Iron 4 recently, which of course deals with the war on a global scale. Whoops. Oh, Jesus. And the Marco Polo Bridge incident occurs there as well. And so, what I find so cool about this mod, but also about this series, is that you get such a complete idea of what the war is about. Again, it is not fully complete. Again, we are missing the actual Marco Polo Bridge incident. There's some stuff in Poland that we're going to miss. But again, I'm actually very proud that we're going to actually go into things like, for example, the Finland Wars. Finland was at war with Russia for a while, which I don't think a lot of people know. One thing that I still need to get used to from the old Battlefield is that nowadays, if you would have a blue character, that would be on your team, and red would be the opposite. But here it just goes like the colors are pre-decided, meaning that if you're on the red team, anything that's blue you need to kill. Also, I'm not actually capturing this point. It's a bit easier for me to do that. See, though, you can see that our reinforcements are really, really, really low, so we're not going to be able to win this. But now we at least can spawn over here. This is also one of the few maps that does not support the larger scale setting. If you paid close attention to my previous video, you might have noticed that we had a 128 versus 128 battle. And there are a handful of maps that do not support that. The next map, the Battle of Nanjing, does support that again, and is a really, really cool looking map. It is very, very large in terms of scale. Now we just drop. There you go. By me neutralizing this capture point, made our credits stop ticking down there. You can actually see our troops flanking, but it's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Don't know where I got shot from. Let's help our troops in a final final assault. It is kind of interesting. Again, like I said, the Japanese actually won, but they You know, they were shocked by the resistance that was given. And they're giving me quite a bit of resistance here. Let's call it that. Alright, and with that, let's actually switch the teams and go play as the Chinese. Alright guys, let's play as some of the CNR. Chinese revolutionary. Oh god! Actually, CNR might actually be something different. But here you can see the bottleneck that the Japanese find themselves of. Actually, if I can get into that vehicle, because there's no way that guy actually did get through. Great sound from the guns for the Chinese. It's interesting too. They actually made it to where you begin with Japan having more reinforcements as it's ticking down, since the Chinese group has dominance over the map. It might also be interesting to someday make a cinematic regarding this battle in Man of War, especially since I believe the Rising Sun mod adds the ability to have Chinese units. Ow. Let me in! Let me in! Ow. I don't know if I was killed there by my own guy, but whatever. We actually have a vehicle over here at their base. Interesting. Oh. Got a bit of a stalemate here. I just want to throw a grenade in there. Ooh, God. Ooh. That was nasty. Oh, look at that. They broke through. Finally. They were doing better than we did last time. Oh, look at that. There's actually a vehicle over there we can get. Unless an AI takes it. Again, not too sure how historically accurate it is to have a lot of these vehicles fight through the streets. But again, as mentioned before, this series is mostly meant to entertain. And for example, the first video, the incident between the Russians and the Japanese was very inaccurate in terms of that there were a lot of casualties on the Japanese side as well, etc., etc. You might have actually also noticed that there are photos at the beginning of this section. They come straight from the Wikipedia page. And whenever there are photos available on Wikipedia regarding an incident that is being played out here, I will add them at the beginning to add a little bit more context. We're gonna go straight through. Death to the Japanese invader. Oh, they did damage me a little bit. Oh god. Oh. But yeah, as you can see though, this is not a battle that is 128 versus 128, but 36 versus 36, and it is the is a good amount of units. It's close quarter combat, so again, what is interesting though, if you think about it like that, is that the Japanese have no vehicles at their disposal. No vehicles at all. Whoa, dude, there's the Chinese guy on your dashboard. Oh, here they all come. Look at that. Got it. I forgot that's how it worked. If you're in oh, nice shot. In the old Battlefield, you hold down the mouse button to keep looking through the visor. Oh, I gotta reload. Again, since it's currently in the series August 1937, I always go by the beginning of the incident in terms of where we are. Shit. You can bet that we still have quite a while to go before Germany gets involved with the war. It is coming though. You can feel the tension rising up, just as in Hearts of Iron 4, where when the Second Sino-Japanese War starts, things in Europe also starts to get a little tense. Get a little tense. But we're still a few years away from that. Most of the upcoming videos in this series obviously will focus on the Pacific Theater, but on a war that, again, I don't think was highlighted very well in video games at all. So I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys on the next battlefield.